And welcome back. Now, I honestly didn't think I'd be doing these videos after I pretty much wrapped them up, but thanks to the newest Bleach chapter and I guess new arc coming out for Bleach, sweetness, echoing Jaws of Hell arc, we have new characters with new Zanpakutos. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the 8th Division Lieutenant, because we may still see her Zanpakuto later on. But because we have a new Zanpakuto, and we can theorize, and maybe I'll just be proven wrong on what this thing does or whatever, let's talk about the new Zanpakuto from Atau Rindo, who is the now 7th Division Lieutenant. I like this character a lot because I do like the fact they're trying something new with the characters. This character is deaf, and the way he released his Zanpakuto was basically to write on the side of the blade with his finger using reishi, and it glowed, and that was basically his release command. I actually think that's a really cool idea. Now, what his Zanpakuto's name is, I thought his Zanpakuto was just called Taka. I thought it was called Hawk. But apparently that's not quite what it is. So, his Zanpakuto's release command, it takes the form of a standard katana. It's called Give Birth. And basically, it takes the form of a segmented whip. The segments resemble shikigami talismans attached each one with a small loop, or attached to each other with a small loop. So uniquely, his Zanpakuto does not appear to have a set name. Instead, he can use different attacks by naming different species of animals in sign language after describing the release command on the blade. The one we do see is Taka, Hawk. The individual Shinigami segments transform into hawks that swarm an enemy by Rindo's incantation. When attacking, the birds can strip even a gigantic being like a Jigoku no Gaki to its bones in a second by rapidly consuming its flesh. So this actually is a pretty unique Zanpakuto. It seems to be a Zanpakuto of creation. And it's also unique because I don't know if you can classify it as a Keto type. And I don't know if you can classify it as a living creature type, like Minazuki was, or even like Sajin's Tekken, which is technically a living creature type as well. So it's very weird. It's actually kind of similar to something like, as weird as it is to say, Yajiru's Sanpo Kempo, where the blade didn't change, but it did still create these creatures. So let's go under two assumptions right now. A, that the name of the Zanpakuto is in fact Hawk, and that is the main ability. So that's the first assumption. If we were to figure out what this Zanpakuto's Bankai would be like, my guess is that the amount of hawks would just increase. Maybe that this whip he creates, the talisman-like appendages on it, just increase in the numerous amounts, and he just creates this giant flock of hawks, this giant swarm of hawks, if you will. Or he's able to summon like a giant version of the hawk that just attacks. That's possible too. But let's actually go with the more idea that that Taka, Hawk, isn't the name of the Zanpakuto, it's just the command ability of the Zanpakuto. What then is the Bankai of something like that, especially if he can just summon different animals? Like maybe each talisman, even though he summoned a bird from each of these talismans, what if each talisman is kind of representative of a creature he can summon? Like, we see him in the manga talking to bears, birds, rabbits, all that, just interacting with them. And he seems to have a very attuned nature with animals. So I think that's clearly what his ability is based around. So I'm going to say that if his Zanpakuto does that, I'm going to bet that Zanpakuto can just summon a mass swarm of animals from nothing. My guess is the birds aren't like real birds. He's not creating life from a whim. They're like made of reishi and things along those lines, and they'll disappear after he resets the Zanpakuto. So my guess is that's kind of what his ability does ultimately, is it summons a massive, army of animals by his side to just attack. Maybe, and it's not just summoning birds or even bears, maybe something like, because Burn the Witch technically is canon with the Bleach world. So could summon like a dragon or something like that, and maybe like at its most strongest point. Either way, though, this is very interesting because we don't know the true name of this Zanpakuto. I thought Hawk was just the name of the Zanpakuto, but apparently that isn't the case, at least from everything we're seeing here. But ultimately, that's just my thoughts on this new Zanpakuto. we are obviously going to be seeing more Zanpakuto as the series continues again, which I am more than down for. So, well, and you know what? It'll also be cool to maybe finally get some answers on like my Zanpakuto theory videos. Maybe we'll finally see Yoruichi Zanpakuto. I'm going to do a more speculation video on the new arc a little later. Right now I'm a little low on battery, so I'm going to charge my computer up. Until then, what do you think about this new character, Zanpakuto? Again, this character is Atau Rindo. I actually like him. I'm less into Yu, though I do like her whole, like turning her hands into a bear's mouth and just chomping down the opponent technique. I thought that was pretty cool. And it was great to see like Akon getting a moment. Like I also thought too, I misread the chapter for a moment, that we were seeing his Zanpakuto and the release command was melt, but that's not what it was. He was using like this weird Quincy-esque technique, just Shinigami style. And no, yeah, it was really cool to see that too. It was just cool to read a Bleach chapter again. And let's be clear, it was a good Bleach chapter too. I thought it was a very good chapter. It's not the best chapter ever, but for a starting point chapter, I thought it was actually pretty solid. So, yeah, I like where we're going right now. The lore and everything. We'll talk more about that again with when we actually do the video on that. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.